What up, beautiful people? It is Nicole Nash once again. If you are here for the first time, I just want to introduce myself. I am a licensed mental health therapist. I specialize in trauma and grief. If you are returning, welcome back. If you're catching this, we actually are in the middle of our 30 days, 30 ways to level up your healing. And y'all, you're going to have to correct me, but I believe we're on day 17 because day 16 was yesterday, right? So happy Wednesday or hump day. I'm going to share for today, y'all. We're going to do it a little bit different. I wanted to record just because I want to go and I want to have dinner with my moms. I'm winding down on just wrapping up in one state, about to move in the next couple of days to another state, and I just want to spend time with my mommy. So I wanted to record, and we're about to go eat dinner. So I actually want to pull a page from my lesson I learned. I just been marinating on, and it's raining. Y'all, the weather here has been just wonky, but I'm actually really grateful for the rain because it's been hot, y'all. And the mosquitoes ain't been playing. Let me tell you, I came out here because I actually like being outside, especially to unwind. But y'all, I made the video yesterday, and it was like just I was out here for just like 10 minutes, y'all. Kid you not. And when I say these mosquitoes had a buffet, so I'm hoping that the rain is going to deter some of the mosquitoes. But I was very, very mad because I told myself years ago I was no longer going to be somebody's victim, but I was a mosquito victim yesterday. But I will continue. I digress. So anyway, y'all, that's my my spiel. I'm been on my soapbox. For this particular challenge, we have been focusing on trauma, and I'm really wanting to get into just different types of trauma, especially for women in leadership. So, if you're watching this, I want to say my messages are geared to everyone, but specifically women in leadership. And my goal is to assist women heal, overcome, heal forward, I like to say, from traumatic roots and any kind of emotional wounds that were caused by the trauma as well, with the goal of shifting from a performance-based worthiness to identity-based worthiness, just because just been my personal experience, but also I've just noticed with clients just over the years how sometimes as a trauma response, the reason why a lot of people are successful is unfortunately due to using the trauma in a way that actually still benefits them and benefits others, but they're still not addressing the trauma. And so sometimes even your success could be a trauma response, because especially when we get into a hyper independence, we get into like the need for being overly competitive. And then even sometimes in the sense that, your identity comes from what you do. And so, we spent time the other day talking about performance and versus identity. And I want to continue to talk about that because that's one thing I recognize. And that was the key even for me that I began sharing, is to shift from performance, which is due, to identity, which is actually embracing and standing on your worth alone, right? So anyway, at least for today, I'm just winding down. Like I said, I'm about to move, and today was interesting in the sense that I'm just noticing just across the board, there's just been a lot of distractions, and a lot of distractions really lately have been with people. And I'm usually good about navigating people. I'm introverted, so a lot of times I'm gonna be real, like I can like skip over people because I'm in my own little bubble a lot of times. But especially having to navigate around people is one thing we're just gonna have to like learn, and it just takes time, right? But a lot of my distractions, excuse me, have been dealing with people. And so today I had a break. I had a chance to just like sit in my car and just take a break. And I was just talking to God, because I know it's particular with me, and I'm going to recommend for you to check into your body symptoms. A lot of times when it comes to trauma, sometimes we either get hyper vigilant or we actually get numbing. So either we like are always on edge, or sometimes we dissociate. So we're not accustomed to listen to our body signals, just because, especially if you're used to like a lot of just like going through, or just like what is it like, especially if you're used to, I'll say, having to deal and having to push through without slowing down, right? Especially if that's just something you just had no choice but to do, right? Especially during a time during traumatic life events. However, though, it's always important to slow down and pay attention to your body, because your body, I would say, is like a toddler. It sends the basics, kind of like I would say it's very basic on like really it's gonna it's gonna tell you when you're hungry, it's gonna tell you when something's up. But unfortunately, a lot of times if there's trauma, sometimes the brain and the body, they fight against each other, so they're flowing with each other. And one thing the brain would try to tell you to do is to be strong versus being smart. And again, that goes into a lot of like hyper independence, superwoman, strong woman, which I'm completely against, right? But I was saying that because during my break, I had time to slow down and really just listen to my body. And I noticed that I was feeling like just on edge and feeling like not necessarily overwhelmed, but just like, I don't know, I just know my body and how it processes, like just like when I have a lot of things to do, right? So I always go into checking in my body, but then I go and I check in with God. And so I just know distinct moments when I feel a certain way. I always go back to God. I'm like, God, what's up? I'm feeling just like there's a lot to do. I'm feeling just a certain kind of way. What is this? And anytime I have this feeling, I go to God. He always reminds me that if I'm feeling like just overwhelmed or like I have a lot to do, He tells me that I'm too far zoomed out and I got to zoom in. So anytime I feel like I'm like drowning or I have so much to do, anytime I feel like I feel like I'm responsible for so many things, but I feel like I'm like failing, God always reminds me, zoom in, because I'm too zoomed out. And what I mean by zoomed out, He had to remind me, you're taking on responsibility for things you honestly don't need to be taking responsibility of. And some of them, especially today, I landed on, were people. And so I had to have this real conversation with God. And I was like, okay, God, who am I taking responsibility over? Because I wear a lot of multiple hats. But who am I taking responsibility over that I should not be? What am I taking responsibility of that I should not be? And help me to give it back to you. And so I came back to God and I just asked Him, like, Lord, please take this stuff. And immediately afterwards, I felt a weight be lifted. Right? So for today, I really want to encourage you to check in any moments that you feel so overwhelmed. If that's the case, that is your indication that you're too far zoomed out, meaning you're looking at all this big picture and you're thinking you're responsible for all these many things, when chances are, if you just were to zoom in and focus on one thing, you'll find that one, priority wise, some things really aren't a priority that you think it is. Two, some things are really outside your control, so there's nothing you can do about it. And certain circumstances, but always people will always fall under that second category of being just outside of your will of control, right? But the comfort, y'all, I can say I got from God by agreeing to release to Him. It was immediate, y'all. And so a couple of things I just want to reiterate. When I'm talking to y'all, I promise you I'm talking to myself. God will often tell me, you know what you just said? Play it back to yourself, right? Just in all transparency, right? Is one thing in this He reminded me of is to be smart, don't be strong. And a lot of times we think, especially as women in leadership, we think we need to be strong. But one thing I've learned is sometimes being strong, meaning you have this false sense of pride, because you feel like you're the only one who can do it. You feel like it all falls on you. That taps out on you long term, I will say. So the goal is always to be strategic. And I believe going to God for the strategy, because God would tell you something just really just kind of like small a lot of times, but profound in strategy that will change like even just the direction and the momentum of where you're at, right? So be smart, don't be strong. And another thing is the enemy, he's not expecting you to be smart. He's expecting you to be strong. When we decide to be strong, that means we're operating in our own flesh, which is where the enemy has, like, I would say, like, domain, in our natural flesh. However, the minute we decide to give it over to God, He can't touch God. He never will be able to touch God. So God gave me a reminder of that. I will also say another lesson I learned was picking and choosing my battles. Not everything deserves a last response. Not everything deserves a response at all, right? Some people are going to think what they think. Some people are not going to be happy with some of your decisions at the end of the day. I want to talk about boundaries a lot, and how to set boundaries and being okay with some people are honestly not going to like the boundaries you set. And that's okay. That's not your responsibility. You're not the emotional manager of people, right? But pick and choose your battles. The ones that you honestly feel that you need to like stand your ground, stand your ground, right? The other thing is to continue to show yourself grace, to pace yourself. Every day can be a learning opportunity if you let God steer it. And this is just some reminders that I want to give. So, again, just a general reminder for today. If you're slowing down, or even if you have to make the intentional choice to slow down in this moment as you're watching this video, we're at 10 minutes, about to be 11 minutes. Take this time to slow down. If you're watching this video, I'm going to challenge you to only watch this video. Don't multitask. Hyper focus on the video. Hyper focus on my words, okay? Zone in, okay? And I want you to take some time to really listen to your body. So even when you're done with this video, spend the next 60 seconds just zoning in on your body and listen to your body and what it's trying to tell you. And if you do feel overwhelmed, if you do feel stretched, if you do feel helpless, if you do feel like there's just too much to do, chances are you're zoned out. You need to zone it in and also ask God what you need to release to Him on today. So, y'all, these mosquitoes are coming back. The rain did not do it. So I'm about to go in the house. And I'm actually about to go and have dinner with my mom once again. So you all, I hope you have a good one, and I will chit chat with you later, God willing. All right, bye.